It holds the record of being the largest aircraft to fly in the world. It weighs over a staggering 550 tons. It's so huge that the Wright brothers' first flight could have taken place in the cargo bay. Its 6 engines produce over 300,000 pounds of thrust, making it the world's most powerful aircraft. It's one of a kind. The Antonov 225. This gigantic jet has dimensions that defy belief. It also seems to defy gravity as it lifts its massive bulk into the skies. It's so big that even the man in charge of flying it doubted it could get off the ground.
The first time I saw the aircraft in the assembly hangar, I said, it is not possible. It is not possible that this aircraft can be airborne.
It has a wingspan of 88 meters. The diameter of the fuselage is 19 meters. It stands over 18 meters high. This aircraft is so immense that one tractor alone can't pull it. 2 heavy-duty tractors are required to tow it from the hangar to the airfield. All these measurements add up to one simple distinction. The Antonov 225 is the largest jetliner in the world. This 6-engine Goliath is the heavyweight champion of the skies. It's a jet so long that it would barely be able to squeeze between the goalposts on a football field. To put it into perspective, the Antonov 225 dwarfs the most prolific jetliner in the world, the Boeing 737. And at 84 meters long, the Antonov 225 is 14 meters longer than the largest passenger jet, the Boeing 747-400. When it comes to lifting heavyweight cargo, only a few aircraft in the world can handle the loads. The US Air Force's C-17 Globemaster can lift 85 tons. The mighty C-5A Galaxy lumbers through the sky with up to 135 tons. But when it comes to mega loads, the Antonov aircraft from the Ukraine are in a class of their own. The Antonov 124, the 225's little brother, as if anything this big can be called little, packs an incredible 150 tons plus of cargo lifting might.
The 225 is the next order of magnitude. It has a 250-ton capacity, and the 225 is capable of carrying up to 250 tons externally on the roof.
The reason that the 225 is the heavy lifting champion is its cargo hold. Its interior is so cavernous that 8 average-sized houses could be stacked inside. It's a jet so enormous that those who stood in its massive shadow have dubbed it the aluminium overcast. But being the world's largest isn't the only thing that sets this Soviet-built jet apart. The Antonov 225 is unique. In fact, this is the only one in existence today. The 225 also has a unique story. A tale of creation, desolation, and then a phoenix-like rebirth from the economic ashes of the former Soviet Union. The saga surrounding this one-of-a-kind jet sets it apart from all other aircraft. The Antonov 225 evolved out of the intense competition with the United States in the race for space. The aircraft was built in the Ukraine in 1988 to carry the Soviet space shuttle. The 36-meter-long shuttle nestled comfortably on its broad shoulders and was dwarfed by the craft designed to transport it. Unfortunately for the 225, size wasn't everything. In 1989, the Berlin Wall fell, and by 1991, the Soviet Union was history. Not even size could save the Antonov 225 from the economic woes of a country in transition. Their space program was cancelled, and this awe-inspiring jet was decommissioned and demoted to the biggest scrap heap in the world.
They parked the aeroplane in a corner of the test facility at Gostomel, and they were watching this wonderful asset falling into disrepair.
It would be nearly a decade before the mighty Antonov 225 would defy the odds and fly again. The world's largest aircraft carries the name of its creator, the name of a man whose passion for flight began in the days when Tsar Nicholas II ruled Russia, and aviation science was in its infancy. A man who would eventually become a hero in a nation that didn't yet exist. Oleg Konstantinovich Antonov was born on February the 7th, 1906, near Moscow, just 3 years after the Wright brothers made their famous flight at Kitty Hawk. As his country weathered World War I and then the Russian Revolution, the young Antonov turned his head to the clouds. He collected World War I airplane parts, and this fascination with flight led him to design his first glider.
Oleg Antonov built his first flying machine in 1923 in age 17. It was glider. It was not very successful glider, but during next 15 years, Oleg Antonov built a lot of gliders which were on the world scale and keep some Soviet and world records.
Antonov studied engineering at the Leningrad Polytechnic Institute and graduated in 1930. He then worked as chief of design at various Soviet factories, developing more than 30 types of gliders.
He was very talented engineer, and especially in aerodynamics. During the Second World War, Oleg Antonov, he was deputy chief designer for Mr. Yakovlev, a famous fighter designer, but it was not enough for him. On his free time, if he had free time, he designed his own construction, and one of that was famous in future Antonov 2 biplane.
This little plane, the Antonov 2, displayed outside his Kiev office, is the one that eventually would lead him towards the heavy-duty cargo jets that bear his name today.
Project was supported by Mr. Yakovlev and by Ministry of Aviation Industry. And the first prototype was built in Kiev factory and flew in 1946. Aircraft was good, successful, and the government designed to start big-scale production.
Antonov established his own design bureau in Kiev. His objective was to construct a plane that would withstand the rigors of flight all over the vast Soviet Union, something that could dust crops in the Ukraine as well as deliver mail to the frozen wastes of Siberia. 18,000 of these workhorses were built, and many still continue to do their jobs today. It was Antonov's talent to design aircraft that perfectly fulfilled Soviet needs that led to a friendship with Nikita Khrushchev and some status in the USSR. Not just anybody gets an office like this in the Soviet Union. Antonov's office is preserved like a shrine and is packed with vintage Cold War-era trappings. Secret recorders, complex communication systems, and hidden panels all reveal the low-tech tricks of the engineering trade, and all speak volumes about Oleg Antonov and his vital role in Soviet aviation. From this office, Antonov continued to design planes, and those planes kept getting bigger and bigger. Thanks to this man, the Ukraine holds the little-known distinction of consistently producing the biggest planes in the world. The world's first wide-bodied aircraft was developed in 1965, the Antonov 22. To this day, the Antonov 22 remains the largest turboprop in the world. Approximately 100 of these massive military transport planes were produced. Then came the ironically named little brother to the biggest jet in the world. The Antonov 124. The 124 owes its whale-like shape to its function. It was developed in the mid-1970s as a strategic air transporter for the Soviet military to carry missiles and tanks. With its 73-meter wingspan and 69-meter length, it easily captured the record for the largest production aircraft in the world. Over 60 of these jets have been built, and Oleg Antonov led the initial design work. Within the government, there were some conflicts of opinion on design, but Antonov prevailed. Notable features of his giant creation were thicker wings than its predecessors, providing more lift and fuel capacity. The aircraft had nose and tail cargo doors, allowing vehicles to drive in one side and out